Gators.
We're so excited about today's adventure. It is a farm tour, but one like we've never done before. Never. If you remember Lisa and Bert Smith from episode 4, they recommended we tour the Laughing Goat Flower Farm, and we heard the word goat.
And we were sold.
And we were sold. But this one's actually about horticulture. What is horticulture?
Horticulture is kind of the growing of garden type flowers and plants. So you have kind of your agronomy type of thing where it's more field crops, and horticulture is more like your ornamental and garden types
and food
of plants.
Production.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a local horticulture operation in Enumclaw. So close to all of you guys. We have never met the owner in person, but we've been coordinating on the computer, and she's so welcoming to us. We're kind of excited about
this. We're geeking out right
We
now.
are.
Goats and flowers. What more could you want?
Literally nothing. So we're on our way there, but while we're on our way there, we wanted to do something kind of special today. Lybeck and I make these videos each week for you guys. We enjoy them. We've met all kinds of cool people. We've seen all kinds of cool things. We're learning with you guys, which is one of our favorite things. But honestly, it's like, do people like these videos?
Yeah,
we don't know. You guys never comment. But we have one special fan, and they reach out literally every week, and they send us so much encouragement, and they try our challenges.
And it just makes it way more fun.
Yeah, we know at least one person's out there watching and enjoying what we do. So we wanted to celebrate this person for making us feel good. So do you want to drum roll?
Sure. This one's for you, Celia.
Today's all for you, Celia. We want to thank you. We appreciate you, and we're going to show that.
And thank you for making our views go up.
So we want to send you some UBA, United by Ag, swag, some goodies. So thank you for your support. We will be sending you some fun stuff in the mail. And
keep watching.
Keep watching. Okay, we're going to let you know when we get to the farm. Today's going to be good. Today we are on the Laughing Goat Flower Farm, and this is owner and operator, one of the owner and operators, Amy. Hi. And she runs this farm that we get a tour today with her husband. So, should we get started? Okay.
So we are currently in the poppy field.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do with these poppies?
So these particular poppies are what I call a mixed blend of probably about 10 to 15 varieties of seed that I originally purchased and grew. And so what you see here is a blend of those varieties as well as what we call open pollinated varieties, because the bees have access to these flowers. They're crossing the pollen from different varieties, and so we're getting, some of these are just really interesting mixes that maybe you can't buy seed of because it's sort of nature's invention. Anyway, we love them because the pollinators have total access to them and they create really beautiful things. And then we're selling the seed for gardeners, because gardeners love to have these beautiful pops of color in their landscapes. As it's, when you plant them in the fall or the winter, you're going to see that you're going to get this really vibrant crop of flowers pretty early on before other things start to bloom in the Northwest. So they're fun.
Okay, these are huge and healthy and beautiful. What is this and where are we?
So we are in one of our growing tunnels, and this is where we grow one of our specialty crops of dahlias. And believe it or not, these dahlias were planted in February, which we can do because we're in this really protected environment, which is really nice, which is why we have such large growth so early in the year. Some of these plants, you guys, are gonna get 6 to 7 feet tall in here. It's gonna be a dahlia jungle. Oh yeah, it's like some of the flowers will be like reaching for the ceiling. So that's why we have, we're using these really strong T-posts and line to help keep them corralled. And then we plant them a little bit closer together because that also helps. And we also do really deep cuts when it's time to harvest them, which helps to keep them in check too.
And these just stay here all year round in the dirt.
Yep, so we've, I don't know if you can see this, we've brought in quite a bit of grit and compost, so we're really building up the soil so that there's really good drainage in here for these flowers. And that way if we have like really heavy rains, it keeps the tubers lifted so we can keep them in here a little bit longer. It just gives me a little bit more time to come in and dig them up and divide them when I'm ready.
Awesome.
Here in the peony field, right?
Yes, the peony field kind of stretches all over the farm. It's it's probably our main specialty crop at this point in time.
So how do you, I always argue with my students, how do you say, I say peony, they say peony.
I would accept either, but I would tell you that peony is probably closer to the Latin version, which is paeonia. So peony or peony would actually mimic the Latin pronunciation.
We have it, kids. We always argue about it. They're like, that's not how you say it.
Well, you know, it's super interesting. Speaking of the Clematis Society of America or organization, or maybe it's even the world, had to make a ruling that clematis and clematis are both appropriate pronunciations because there was such an argument about which was correct. So in the botanical world, you know, you can get caught up on names, but really it's just more about enjoying and loving these beautiful flowers. Who cares how you say it?
And they are very nice.
They are. So what all goes into growing peonies? Are they hard to grow? Do they work well in our environment? How'd you pick them?
Actually, peonies are super great for the Pacific Northwest. They need a period of cold chill hours or cold vernalization, which is why they're great. They do go dormant, most of them. So this is an herbaceous peony, which means that during the winter time you won't see anything growing out of the ground. They get cut back to the ground. It's the root underground that's forming eyes. And the super interesting thing about peonies is they're actually forming the eyes, which each stem comes from an eye on the root. They're forming those eyes for next year's growth right now. So it's super important for us as growers that we leave as much of this foliage on the plant, because that foliage is what's photosynthesizing and feeding the root so that it can grow and put out more eyes.
And do the eyes, are these similar like to the eyes our potatoes grow, or?
You know, no, well, I mean, it's a different plant. Like that's a tuber, and this is more of like it's a true root. So it's a woody underground structure. And the eyes, how would I describe them? They're kind of, if you dug up a peony root, they're actually like a pink or a red color. They're kind of pointed. And so it's an actual structure that's protruding from the plant versus the eye of a potato, which might be dormant and just like a little dimple that will then grow the fleshy stems. So I guess similar, but not the same.
Because potatoes are tubers and these are true roots.
So this is red charm, and this is what's called a balm variety. And what makes it a balm is it's this, I call it like an ice cream scoop of petals that sits on this single layer that fringes on the outside, versus these coral charm which is what's called a semi-double. So you can see it has a different form where you can clearly see the inner workings of the flower, and then all of these luscious layers of petals on the outside. And if you look over there, our bowl of cream is just starting to open, and that's a fully double. So this variety is called an Ito, which is an intersectional hybrid, which means they've taken a tree peony and an herbaceous peony and they've created this hybrid. And so it has a different form and it has larger flowers, much like a tree peony, but it has some of the qualities of an herbaceous peony.
That's pretty cool.
So there's 3 types of peonies, or classes, I guess. There's tree, Ito, and herbaceous. And then within each of those, you obviously have cultivars, which are the names, like Coral Charm, Red Charm. Those are named varieties of herbaceous peonies. And then each Ito variety has its own name to classify the color and the form of the flower. Actually get really cold standing.
So we were talking about tubers and eyes. We're gonna learn a little bit more about that right now.
Yeah, so a dahlia is actually a tuber, just like a potato. It's obviously shaped different. And this is a really good illustration of what happens from an eye. See, these dahlias are ready to go. They're primed. It's the time of year to plant them. So those little eyes have swollen up and now become these sprouts, which will become those green stalks and plants that we saw in the greenhouse. It's kind of crazy that those massive plants and beautiful flowers come from something like this, right? But here you can see how these little eyes, they're just tiny as they start to protrude. And this is what they look like before they've swollen up. So you were asking me about a peony. If you were to dig underground, the eyes right now would look more like this.
Okay, so it's more of a protrusion.
Yeah, all the time. It's not like the eyes don't go dormant. They're not like not there and then they're
There's just something there that just grows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so usually when you get peony roots, when you buy a bare root, it comes with eyes visible on it, like you'll be able to see them. Whereas you don't always get dahlia tubers. This one's like already rooting in the chips. So you don't always, your dahlia tubers, depending on what time of the year you get them, they won't always have sprouting eyes because they might be dormant. So these are no longer dormant.
Okay, and now we're on the edge of the property where there's more plants growing.
Plants everywhere.
Plants everywhere. So what are these and what's their purpose here on the edge of the property?
So this is Carpinus speculus. It's European hornbeam. And we're mimicking in England because we're going for sort of an English garden vibe with our biodiversity and our plant selection and, creating beauty on the farm. They traditionally use hornbeam as one of their hedging plants to keep their cattle or sheep in or out. And it was also used to keep people off of property because when you're in England and you go past these hedgerows, some of them are like 10, 15 feet tall and really wide, and essentially they replace having to put up fencing. Ours is here to create habitat, to be used as potentially a cut for some of our florists to use because it's a hard to find green, and also to create a sense of privacy as well as a wind barrier for the farm.
Cool. The English theme, what inspired that?
We took a trip, well, I've always loved English gardens, but we took a trip to England and I just fell in love with the aesthetic. And I feel like English gardeners are very advanced, in kind of doing interesting things with growing a lot of plants in small amounts of spaces to create a more diverse population. And also it's just beautiful. The aesthetic is just beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Look at the eagle. So some people ask me why I don't have problems with rabbits. It's the eagle. We have an eagle family that lives in these trees back here on the green belt in between the two properties. So we haven't really had a problem.
Just goes with letting nature do nature's thing. Checks and balances.
I stay out of it.
we were talking about her inspiration of English gardens and how she finds them beautiful and practical, and so now we are actually in her garden. Do you want to explain?
So so typically when you go to large estates in England, you'll find what's called a walled garden or a perennial garden, which is very typical, you know, of people who have a lot of land and perhaps have a lot of help to garden and take care of those lands. And quite often they would either create a walled garden with greenery, such as we've done here with this yew hedge, or they would actually have a true walled garden out of brick.
Okay.
And the point of that was to create what's called a microclimate, because that green wall or that brick wall would actually warm up and keep the elements out of that space. So in a lot of those walled gardens, you would see fruit trees that maybe typically wouldn't grow in that climate that were able to survive with that type of protection.
The wall.
Yeah, and so we were just trying to emulate the look of that and create a beautiful space for people to come to on the farm.
So where are we now?
So we are in a converted storage. Actually, this used to be part of the milking room because this was an old dairy farm. And so this actually had a big trough for waste and water, and they used to milk and feed the cows in here. And so we've converted this particular, we did put up a wall here, a divider, into what is now our farm stand to showcase our local farm product for the community.
Things that you grow here on the farm
will
eventually be in here and available.
Correct. So one of the things that we want to do is allow people to have a place to come to buy local, hyper-local, and seasonal products such as our beautiful flowers that we create, to either buy stems or buy bouquets for their home or special events.
And you don't just grow flowers here, right?
Nope.
So what else could we maybe find one day in the farm store?
You'll find herbs, you'll find berries, you'll find food. We grow garlic, onions, squash, lettuces, tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes.
And if you are interested in seeing what's happening on the farm or when the farm store is ready, you guys have a Facebook page
We do.
and an Instagram, correct?
Yes, we do.
And they're the Laughing Goat Flower Farm. So you guys should follow them and continue learning along with them and seeing what all is produced here.
Do you sell to any local restaurants?
We do. We sell to Griffin and Wells in Enumclaw, right here in town. We've on and off sold to a restaurant in Tacoma and have talked to some restaurants in Seattle but haven't quite made the actual connection yet. But, you know, we are available to sell to restaurants.
That's awesome. Griffin and Wells is in Enumclaw. If you want to try something.
It's delicious.
It is. What is this?
I know, it's really crazy, right?
Yeah.
This is actually one of the more fun and actually easy crops that we grow. Anybody can grow garlic. It grows really well in our climate. It's super easy to plant, and interestingly, only hardneck garlic will produce what is called the garlic scape, and that is the flowering stalk of the garlic plant. And what's super interesting about these is that they are completely edible, and they only produce one per plant a year. And it's a really special time of year when we have these guys, because once they're ready to harvest, which they're pretty close, they're not quite there yet. They'll get a little bit longer and curly, and then we know they're ready to cut. And we'll just cut them right off of the plant, because we actually want the plant to put the energy back into the bulb.
Which is the garlic,
Which
the
is
white
the-
garlic that you eat,
that
you're
you see
used
at the
to.
grocery store.
Yes.
And you actually probably don't very often get hardneck garlic
Right.
at the grocery store. You really usually can only get it like from a farmer, just because it doesn't store as long as soft neck. So that is the trade-off, but you get this delicious scape, and you can make all kinds of really delicious recipes. And what's really fun is on my Facebook page, I like to post recipes of how you can use and make a lot of the things that we grow.
So for you at home, what a great time to try that. See what you like, see new things. I have never had garlic scapes. Have you, Mr. Lybeck?
Nope.
What do they taste like?
So a lot of people compare them to asparagus, not flavor-wise, but texture-wise.
Okay.
They do have a very mild garlic flavor. So if you're garlic averse,
Maybe this
is the part of the garlic plant that's for you, because it doesn't have quite that bite, but it just has that very mild flavor. But it's a really delicious accompaniment to stir fries, quiches, risottos, soups, pestos.
I think we're gonna have to try some.
Stop.
As you guys know, we somehow always find
We
goats.
found some goats. So what is the significance of the goats?
Well, I don't know. I just always wanted goats. I thought that they would be fun.
And they are!
I think that's why my husband's actually the one who named the farm Laughing Goat Flower Farm, because I think he thinks the joke's on him that we ended up with goats. Because
He thought he was getting into flower farming, but the goats came anyways.
yeah, no, if we could just convince him to get a donkey.
Me too. Me too. And these goats just get to hang out on the farm, and
These goats are just basically pets. Yeah, we had the intention originally of breeding and doing products, cheese, soaps, etc. with goat milk, but I took some classes and sort of fell in love with the horticulture side of things and realized that that was a better use of my time and energy. So now we just have really nice goat pets.
and now you got the pets you always wanted.
Yep, I have all the goats I always wanted to pet.
And I will tell you guys, these goats look so happy. Did you guys love that flower farm or what?
That was probably the most beautiful farm I have ever been to.
Oh my gosh.
And I've got some big ideas for that grassy area out back. It's not going to be vacant for long, guys. Trust me on this one.
When we get back to school,
It's on.
we've got some gardening to
Better
do.
get those gardening shovels ready.
Amy's inspired by England, but Amy,
We're
you're
inspired by
you. That was, oh my gosh.
So amazing.
Like, I didn't know what to expect. I had high expectations, and that just,
Blew it out of the water.
that was amazing. It was beautiful, and I love how everything they do, like, makes sense for the environment and our region. And who knew seasonal and regional
Flowers.
horticulture could be so pretty and so unique.
And she had things that we'd never heard of or seen before, so that was really cool.
I am for real gonna try.
We should do a challenge maybe in the future where we use flowers from her farm, maybe.
Ooh, and we're definitely, or I'm gonna try those garlic. What were they? I'll have to go back and watch the clip. We got a flower that matches our
What kind of
shirt.
flower is that?
That's an anemone.
Anemone.
They're so hard to see. Because if you didn't notice our shirts,
What do they say?
keep your friends close. Keep your anemones closer. Ooh, keep that in mind. I went there. As always, thank you for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep those comments coming.
Tell us what you want to see. Don't forget to go follow the Laughing Goat Flower Farm on Instagram and Facebook for beautiful flowers like these.
And if you're looking for some beautiful flowers for your house or something,
or local
consider them.
vegetables and herbs,
consider them.
That
They have
farm
some really
store
nice stuff.
it's gonna be great. And then don't forget to like and follow UBA on Instagram
And our YouTube.
and our YouTube channel. Until next time.